Hey, this is Ken Casey from the Dropkick Murphys, and I love the Grandstanders! Take it away, kid!
Hello, welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's the barber to the stars, Hollywood Pete McGilvery. Well, we have another great show for you tonight, so boys, let's get it started. Of course, we have to thank our wonderful sponsor, Pizzeria Dante, 415 Harvard Street. He brought the wonderful pasta
the
tonight.
pasta was delicious.
And everybody was happy, and I think everybody in the station's eating it because that's what they do. All right, we'll go to the Celtics first, and it's Game 5. And as I predicted, I said the series was going to be easy. I said the Celtics were the Sixers were immature, poorly coached, and it's proven to be correct. We're one win away, and tonight we put them away, guys, don't we?
I damn well hope so, because I do not. This is not a game you want to lose tonight, because then the sphincters start to get tight.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Could you beat
they
the
really
Yankees?
should win tonight with that crowd and everything.
Yeah, and the Sixers are not that good.
No, the Sixers aren't that good. Although, and Brown has been outcoached by Stevens badly this series. Although Brown made some adjustments from the other night with T.J. McConnell in the starting lineup and so forth. And let's see what Brad has tonight. Brad's got to come back with something.
He's a Mainer, and he has that look on his face like he hates all his players. Doesn't like them at all. This is not a likable group in the Sixers end, right? I mean, they're talking about this great young team, and for many years, I don't know about that.
Like when Belichick said he didn't like that 2018. I don't like this team.
I don't know. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting on Brad.
Yeah, I think so. He'll put the players in a position to succeed, and then it kind of goes back to the old Doc Rivers thing. At that point, it's a make or miss league. If Terry Rozier hits his shots tonight, they're going to win the game.
Yeah, he's seen what the other guys can do and will do and has done.
Yep.
And he'll adjust.
I know this is sacrilegious, but Al Horford has a little bit of a Larry Bird feel right now.
Hey.
I know. I went there, guys, but seriously, he's a guy clutch. You know when he gets the ball in a clutch
One
situation,
series.
he's gonna
This is like a Jimmy
Milwaukee.
Garoppolo
No,
kind of
Milwaukee.
No,
I'm getting
I'm
that
with
love for Al. I'm telling you something. He's one of my top 10 favorite Celtics of all time right now.
Oh, wow.
Seriously, I just love guys that come through in the playoffs,
Is this a
give
hot
it
take
all
or-
effort,
No.
but also he has been the MVP in last year's playoffs and this year's.
I agree
Dog
with
did
you.
the first 82 games?
No,
No.
that's
Look,
bullshit.
he had a lot of nice games during the course of the year. He has proven himself during the playoffs. But the thing is, he's just so fundamentally sound. He makes every other. The Bird comparison is, does he make
makes
other
everyone
players
play
better on the
Yes,
court?
he
And
does.
every time that guy steps on the court, his first thought is, how do I make my teammates play better?
Yeah.
That and I agree with all of what you just said, but when I think of Al Horford, I don't think this guy's special. You know what I mean by that?
Not even when you watch him in the playoffs.
I mean, to put him with Larry Bird special. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying, except for that.
But he does everything, all the small things.
Yeah,
he does
I
the key
know.
rebounds. He makes the
Yeah.
key pass, key steals,
Yeah.
key shots. I mean, this is an all-around player.
And that's another adjustment. He took 6 shots the other night, right?
Right.
So Brad has got to, one of the things you got to look for tonight is Brad going to be able to get Horford involved offensively early enough into this game to start to impose his will.
You're right, but Larry Bird never needed his coach.
And that is a difference. I mean, he doesn't create his own shots Bird was.
Oh, he doesn't create his own shots at all.
Right.
No,
so that's
No, well,
kind of
you
my-
feed him you feed him inside, and he
Yeah.
pumps it.
No,
you gotta
Yeah,
create.
you're not
for him.
saying he's Larry Bird, but he has Larry
No, right.
Bird-like qualities, right?
Dependability. As a fan, I feel very comfortable
I'm down
that
with that.
he's on
He's
the
a
board.
great teammate. Put it that
That's
way.
right. I'm down with
Okay,
that.
based on these last two playoff series, and I will forget about the regular season.
Oh, and last year's playoffs, he was the same way too.
If I told you tonight that you either had Kyrie or Horford to play for the Celtics tonight, who'd you choose?
That's a great question.
Tonight?
Tonight, Al or Kyrie?
This is where I part ways. I'd go with Kyrie. Kyrie, you'd be
All
down.
day.
You're down 20.
No. I think
Oh.
this particular matchup. We
This
need Al
matchup.
this
Oh,
season.
all right. I mean, yeah, we need a big, but
What are you gonna have, Aaron Baines?
no, you don't want
no,
that.
you need Al. You
you need Al tonight.
because
Yeah,
Terry
you need Al
Rozier
tonight.
can be
Yeah.
a facsimile of
Yes.
Kyrie
In
tonight.
this game tonight.
Nobody's
yeah,
a
no, it's good-
facsimile of Al Horford tonight.
That's right.
I'm still working on the bird thing.
I'm so impressed.
No, it's a
Great
good-
point. All right,
It was a great point.
thank you. All right, Jason Tatum, if this was a horse race, is all of a sudden in the stretch run has exceeded
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. Would you agree?
Yes. Now Brown's been injured, but what Tatum can do, and it kind of goes back to what we were just saying, is he can create his own shot. You could throw him the ball in the wing in isolation, and he will find a shot for himself in a way that Jaylen Brown just doesn't. And that doesn't take anything away from Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's an amazing player. It's not what he does yet.
Yeah, he really uses his length.
That's
So,
right.
If the headline was that all of a sudden, the season was over, what we got most out of the playoffs was Jason Tatum is really good.
And Tatum couldn't do that at the beginning of the year. He was getting fed by Kyrie and Al Horford.
That's right.
In the places that were best for him to shoot from. And then now all of a sudden at the very tail end of this regular season and into the playoffs, all of a sudden he's become
Yeah.
a creative,
Which is
spectacular
exactly
player.
What you want him cycling up at just the right time.
Yeah, just two things on that. One is, I was the guy saying there is absolutely no silver lining to losing Gordon Hayward, and there turned out to be a silver lining to
Absolutely,
losing Gordon
yeah.
Hayward, right?
Right.
So Tatum doesn't get
And
this
Brown.
kind of and Brown.
Brown, yeah.
The other thing is what's happened over the last few weeks and in the playoffs is now they're running the offense through Tatum. So you'll see Tatum come off and pick and rolls, getting the ball or isolated with the ball. The offensive possessions are starting with a 20-year-old 4. That's amazing.
Right. And he looks like he can handle
He
it.
looks like he can handle it. And you put 10 pounds on that guy in the offseason, and he is going to be one
he's gotta get
dangerous
a little
son of a
stronger,
gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to be much better rebounder. You'll see a lot
Yeah.
more offensive rebounds.
But he's not afraid of getting in there and rebounding.
He's just doesn't have the strength.
So during the game, I'm doing this a lot and cringing. And the reason I'm doing this is because Aaron Baines is taking 3-pointers. And can you make it stop? Just make it stop, please. It's enough to have the Marcus Smart experience,
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes,
And that's the coin. I am going to give Russ that credit for the Marcus Smart experience. But
Yeah.
that's like a Disneyland
No,
ride,
yeah,
right?
there are two where-
it's up and down.
Yeah.
You're getting
Yeah.
hurt. You're going, ah!
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, no. So, I think what they're doing, there's some strategy in the Baines thing, which is they're desperate to draw and beat away from the hoop. They'll do anything to draw and beat away from the hoop, including giving Aaron Baines license to shoot corner threes.
Right.
Which, by the way, he made 2 of 6 the other night.
I
Right?
know, but still, that's kind of a
it's not-
strategy
it's not-
of the Sixers.
But they're not
That's-
taking advantage of the vacated middle.
So now what we'll see tonight would be nice to see is if Embiid does start to follow him out there, he pump fakes it, they send it into the middle, and you take advantage of the vacated middle.
You know, you thought once Amir Johnson, and now he's actually on the Sixers, once he left, you didn't have to cringe when the guy who's far from qualified to take a three-pointer was taking
That's right.
three-pointers. And it's enough that we have Marcus Smart taking three-pointers.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
All that said, I like Bane.
Oh, he's done a good job
No,
on
he's
Embiid.
He's a good teammate, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's going to give the 6 fouls, beat up on Embiid a little.
Yeah, but
He
you're
makes you
right. I
feel
mean,
it.
it could be come crunch time. Rozier has 32 points in the game. He's hitting everything, and Marcus will take that shot with 8 seconds left.
Yeah, because Marcus has
But
no
Rozier's
conscience.
not afraid of taking the last shot either.
Right.
I'll give him that.
All right, so I hate this whole Joel Embiid love because I don't love him at all. I think he's a punk. I know he kind of in the All-Star game he got the whole personality thing going and
Yeah.
everybody thought he was kind of interesting, but he's a punk, been a punk the whole
He's
series.
their Marshawn.
Yeah, right, exactly. But so why is he allowed to do all the things he does? Because what? He's a star, and that's what they do in the NBA.
What is he? I mean, what do you
Well,
mean?
he's
He's
pushing
allowed-
everybody around.
Well, big
complaining.
guys-
And he's a star off the court. He's like
Yeah.
the face of the NBA in the video game world.
Yeah.
And,
But he's
and,
complaining constantly.
There's a lot
Facebook,
of that-
Twitter.
There's a lot going on that floor that we don't see. Like, is it Saric? Is that his name?
Sarich, yeah.
You see him swearing at guys at free throws on the other team on the Celtics.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the big guys historically in the NBA have been allowed to get away with a lot. You think about Wilt, you think about Darryl Dawkins, you think about, that it just kind of comes with the territory. He's the latest in the line of hateable bigs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't feel like he's likable at all. Even though I didn't think he was likable any series.
Look, this is great because this is reestablishing the hatred
Oh,
between the
yeah.
Celtics and the
Oh,
Sixers.
yes.
That's good. That's a perfect series right now for the time.
And then I won't even
It
talk
comes
about
at a
it.
good time after
yeah,
you know what. We won't
exactly,
talk about
yeah.
that.
But
Exactly right.
I'll whisper it, and then we could have the Cavaliers. Oh my God!
Yeah.
There you go, a rivalry. Oh, I can't wait.
I don't like the way the 76ers have tried to co-opt the fact that the actual rivalry was with the Warriors, not the Sixers.
Yeah, but that
And
rivalry,
they've co-opted. They even had the Hal Grizz number.
Right, but
The other night.
but in the 80s there was a
that nostalgia.
there was a
stuff.
massive
I'm pissed
rivalry.
about that too,
Yeah.
Joe. You're right. Jeez, my God, they shouldn't play tonight. All right, so Rusty Boy and I were at Game 2 of the series, and as loud a crowd as I've ever heard in any Boston Garden, old Boston Garden, new Boston Garden.
Celtics crowds are the best.
Yeah, there were that run at the end of the half that they made was the loudest I'd ever seen or heard any arena at any time.
Yeah.
I think it'll be louder tonight.
And it hopefully will be louder tonight.
And that sure helps it because when you're in Boston and that was an 8:30 start, I mean everybody's just liquored
People were
up to
lubed
it.
up the
Oh
other
my
night.
God,
Oh, yeah.
that's not even
Saturday,
fair.
that was Saturday night?
Yeah.
They were lubed up.
They were right there. Everybody was very comfortable.
I stay in the old Quincy Market.
Yeah, that's why actually we got a break tonight because if the Cavs had lost, it would have been a 6 o'clock game.
Yeah, it'd been on now.
But now we got an 8 o'clock game, and
Yeah.
you know what they're doing right now. Everybody's
right.
getting
Yeah.
They're
lubricated.
planning.
Yep.
The greatest bar is packed.
Yeah, exactly. So Celtics win tonight, and they win by 10.
Hope so.
We agree? Okay.
Yeah, hope
All right,
so.
so we go to our beloved Boston Red Sox, who had their 10th loss. They finally got to two
know,
digits
pretty wild,
of
right?
the loss against the Yankees. We wanted, obviously, to win 2 out of 3, which would mean the next 2 games. But this is a great series. This is going to be nit and tuck all year. These are probably the 2 best teams in baseball.
Well, and to your point earlier with the Celtics and Philly, you got when Joe Kelly came in last night.
That was awesome.
It was on.
Yeah, right.
It
Yeah.
was on again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had 3 hours of boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a
And then the
sudden...
7th inning, a game broke out.
Yeah, right. And let's be honest, they've got to do something about Major League Baseball. That's the series everybody wants to watch, and it's
It
3.5 hours.
There was I texted you the end of the bottom of the 8th and the top of the 9th took a half an hour to play. 6 outs.
Yeah.
And 2 runs were scored. It wasn't like 10 runs were scored.
Yeah.
Took a half hour to play a full inning.
That's the old Red Sox Yankees. Remember, they were
That was
4.5,
insane
5
last
hours.
night. I mean, Embry needed to throw the ball. I mean, it's one thing to take your time and to pitch well, but you take your time and you go walk, double, balk, walk.
Yeah.
How about just let's change it up? How about get the ball back from the catcher and throw whatever the hell he tells you to throw?
Because sometimes he gets reminded that he's Heath Hembry,
Yeah.
and that scares him so much.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm in Yankee
He
Stadium.
looked like he was crossed up a lot, though.
With Vasquez?
Because the guy on
Yeah.
this guy in second, right?
He was crossed up 5 times.
Yeah.
Well, if Vasquez had his way, he'd be at the every time he'd go up to
Oh,
the
that's
plate,
what
every
we need.
pitch.
Vasquez, I'm surprised in that sequence. You couldn't really. His legs were almost closed when he's trying to put the signal down. It was tough to see.
Yeah,
Although
Vasquez has
Jerry
commu-
saw it.
Jerry
Yeah,
saw it.
Well, by the 8th inning, I'm sure he saw a lot. All right, going back to 1978, boys. Butch Hobson. We loved Butch Hobson from Alabama
Yes,
and
we
stuff.
did.
As dumb as the day is long. Butch could have his record, Red Sox record at third base, broken by Rafael Devers of 46 errors. He might even do it tonight.
He
I mean,
I thought
that's
you were
how
going to
quick
say
it might
broken
be.
by the All-Star break. He may be on pace for that.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, if there's 46 balls
but
hit to him tonight.
They figured that into the plan, though.
Right.
He's as bad a third
No,
baseman as you get.
He
Right?
makes them every which way that's possible.
He doesn't have the Johnny Pesky fungos.
No.
He does it.
Well, maybe he's going to be the first baseman next year.
Well, the other thing is, though, there's been a lot of third basemen in history that will be god-awful third basemen, and they just need a year or two to kind of get acclimated and stuff. He's really young. So
Wade Boggs
they'll give him
was
time
terrible
to,
at
they'll
first.
give him time to work out of it. But, boy, he's a butcher over there right now.
But Joe, this is going to be like the old Red Sox who had 25 first basemen.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, we'll put him at first base. We'll put him at first base.
Everybody's the first baseman.
All right, so guys, we've talked about this every week, and only the Grandstanders Live talk about this. It's the elephant in the room. JBJ, we said at the beginning of the season, may never get another hit again, and I don't think he has got a hit the whole season. Just about. It's time to bite the bullet. Bring Rusney Castillo up, who you've spent like $50
Give
million.
JBJ a bus ticket down to Pop.
And put if you can, right? But you can't have JBJ anymore.
He is absolutely
and pulling
killing
up
you.
at bats.
Yeah, he's killing you.
He's coming up in situational.
Yeah.
He's totally unproductive. They're not even productive outs. He doesn't even advance the
Look,
runoff.
if we had a catcher who was hitting it, you could say, all right, we'll live with one spot in that order being a black hole.
Yeah.
But the problem is that at 8 and 9 in that order, it's just 2 automatic outs every night.
It's like having a couple of pitches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you have Sandy Leone batting 154, and he's a better option than Christian Vasquez, you know
It's-
you're
it's
really in
really
trouble
rough
in the
right
catcher
now.
position.
It's
and
really
then, of course,
rough.
But he was 2 out of 3 against Chapman, so.
yeah, but look, the time up before it was 7th inning where he needed to bunt,
Yeah.
and he couldn't put it down, nor did he have any interest in putting
Well, what's
it down.
interesting is that typically guys who are that good defensively, they figure out other ways to get on base. They're good bunters. They learn to slap the ball the other way. His swing looks like a home run hitter's swing.
He's just fighting it. He's just fighting it.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
needs to get himself worked
He's
out.
stubborn.
Yeah.
He just.
I think that's right, Joe.
And the Edward Nunez experiment. I mean, he's really bad now. He may be, again, defensively the worst second baseman in
Yeah.
It's not
baseball.
going to be a problem now.
Well, when's Petey coming back? Is
He'll be
Petey
back.
hanging out with
No.
Gordon Hayward?
That's not what he's talking about.
Why?
Because Brock Holt's back.
Oh!
I mean, he's back. You don't see him every night.
But he has a hamstring issue. Can you imagine?
By the
he
way,
has no range
by the way,
beginning.
Although
plays through.
you and I both would take Brock Holt over Edwin Nunez.
I can't
right
do
now.
that. No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I can't do that.
Because
No.
I'm sitting here.
I can't
He
do
can't
that.
go
no.
against his principles,
No,
Sam.
no, come on. But when is Petey coming
Petey's
back?
getting a bad. You're giving Petey a bad rap. It was always May. It was all from the second he got that surgery. They said by the end of May he should be back. He's playing games down there.
Yeah, he's playing.
right.
games.
He played 5 innings
Gordon
the other
Hayward.
night. Look,
They shoot
you
hoops.
know.
They
Look,
shoot
there's
hoops
one
from a
thing.
sitting position.
You know, there's
From the
one.
anti-gravity machine.
There's one thing that Pedroia
Yeah,
isn't.
right, exactly.
Pedroia wants to be in that lineup. Pedroia would have been in that lineup in April 2nd if they had let him.
I'll tell you what.
Oh,
if David Backes
100%.
was playing second base, he would have been in the next day.
Look,
Yeah, right.
Pedroia did all the damage last
Exactly.
year because he wanted to play through the injury. He got injured like in friggin' opening day when Machado took him out in April, and he played the entire year with an injury. Pedroia's as tough as it comes. He's not that smart, but he's as tough as it comes.
Okay. Yeah, so is Gordon
Good
Hayward.
analysis.
Yeah,
I
right.
like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that.
Petey's tough. I hear it all the time.
Oh, of course
Oh,
he
and
is.
here comes the
Played-
laser show.
Well, no, I give you all that, but
yeah.
that's separate from toughness.
What's that?
That's separate from toughness. He may be full of whatever, but that's separate from being tough.
I'm sorry.
If he was Patrice Bergeron, he would have played opening day.
I kind of checked out after the whole "it wasn't me" thing.
Yeah, right.
I really
You're
liked
right.
him now.
Exactly. I don't know how anxious. I just don't agree with you. I don't know how anxious Petey is to come back to the.
There's
Boston
no
Red Sox.
evidence to support. He played. He got that knee injury when Machado slid into him, and he played every game that he could last year with that knee injury.
I mean, well, then there's a need.
So he got soft in the offseason?
Well, if he's playing at Fort Myers, why can't he play at Fenway Park?
Well, that's a problem with the organization. We say that all the time. That's not a problem
Even on
with
his
Petey.
knees, he'd have more range than Nunez.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, I have to admit I was wrong, and all right.
What?
Wow.
What?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wait
Stop
a minute.
the
I
tape.
admit, no, I was.
Where's that hot take police thing?
I was wrong, but yet I was right
There it
because nobody,
yeah.
nobody
Here he goes.
wanted J.D. Martinez more on the Boston Red Sox than I did.
Wait.
Nobody went to bat for J.D. Martinez.
You
Pay
said
him
he was a
anything, I
stiff.
said. Pay that
he
man.
did say all that.
I did. I pay the man. I needed to pay
And then
the
how
man.
many games did he play before you called him a stiff?
Like 3. Stiff. Jack Clark.
Right.
Yeah,
You
oh, yeah,
called him
that's
every
a
name in the
great-
Reed
book.
Nichols.
El Busto.
Brian Dahlbeck.
Right, El Busto.
I did a Reed Nichols callback.
Yeah.
That's how much he was aggravating me.
Yeah.
And Daniel Nava.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I
there you go.
never thought you'd go that far.
All right, but I have to admit, J.D. Martinez, he's actually kind of stabilized the outfield position.
Yeah.
And
Hasn't played bad.
Expect that.
and he's a right-handed hitter, not the typical right-handed hitter that
Good
we face.
situational hitter,
Because
too.
he's not a pull hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Yankee Stadium, this is what I've been telling you. This is a guy who's going to do some damage in Yankee Stadium because he's perfect. He's got the perfect
Yeah.
right field swing.
It's the right field. Yeah.
I was surprised last night. He took such a good swing. That I think was the second strike in that at bat, and you just saw
Yeah.
if he had
He was
connected with it,
disappointed,
he
yeah.
was going to go opposite field into the third deck, and he knew he missed that pitch.
Everybody knew.
Yeah.
That was the one.
It was the pitch.
So we got breaking news. David Price, none of us are big fans of. Okay.
No.
And it came out that he has numbness, if you remember,
Yeah.
the last time he pitched against the Yankees, and he said it was too cold. Well, apparently he had numbness again. He will not be pitching for the Red Sox tonight
Against the Yankees
the New
again.
York Yankees.
Yeah.
Well, Alex Cora, in the mistake that the PR department clearly didn't get to Alex before he went in front of a mic, said today that he has a mild form of carpal tunnel syndrome. That's a punchline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even have to write anything.
Because that's a esports injury, and there's already speculation that he got carpal tunnel syndrome from playing too much Fortnite.
Fortnite. This is a guy we're
Which is
paying
the
$30
hot
million
new
a
game.
year.
What's that?
It's a
video-
video game.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Online video.
Oh yeah, it's already been asked.
As opposed to saying you got a 50-year-old clerical assistance injury. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not from like doing stenography,
Data entry.
right?
They're like the guys on Slapshot.
Yeah.
But why would Corey even say that?
I don't-
All you're going to say is he has a nerve injury.
Yeah.
And you move on.
I appreciate him saying it
Yeah.
Why?
because he's honest.
No,
Right.
that was
And you get to call out Price about it.
You better
exactly.
believe it.
Great point. That was calling Price out, right? And that's
in a very subtle way, like a
Yeah.
blunder, you know?
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to throw you under the bus.
We just want to make
No,
sure
I
you're
think it's a
all
good
right,
point.
David.
Yeah.
Brad Stevens getting the technical the other night.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, that was planned.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
100%.
so A+ for Alex Cora.
Yeah.
I think that's a great theory. I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. Because there's going to be a couple of signs.
Well,
with
because-
how's the carpal tunnel syndrome doing, David?
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
get
it'll
tough
be
and
interesting
get
next
going.
time we face the Yankees if this nagging injury comes back again.
Yeah.
So we said all we asked of David Price was coming into the season after he did pitch well in the playoffs. Let's
Yeah.
give him his props. Was just behave, be quiet, pitch every fifth
throw
day,
the ball.
right? And we will be happy with you,
Not
right?
be a drama queen.
Even if you're like 3 games above 500, we'll
Yeah.
be okay. But here it starts already when you're 25 and 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first quarter of the season, he's already in his histrionics.
It's right. It's all about David Price. Even though the last 4
Yeah.
starts, he's spit the bit.
He's been bad ever since he got the numbness in his fingers. So maybe at least we now have a diagnosis. It's mild carpal tunnel syndrome.
Mild. That's what I.
At least there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's nothing mild. Like when you go, I like the mild barbecue sauce. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That means you're only gonna lose 15 pounds while eating. All right, so we have to have a eulogy here, boys. It's over. The Boston Bruins season is over. And first of all, we have to talk about the series. And it really was. Game 4 was an abomination with the referees, especially that McAvoy non-call.
Oh, yeah.
And then Stamkos ended up scoring immediately, which cost him that game. Would you blame the refs for the Bruins' plight?
No.
No.
No. Look, Tampa Bay is a really, really well-built, put-together team.
For the playoffs.
Now, I'll admit I thought that the Bruins would beat them when we made our predictions, only because it looked like Tampa was cycling out and the Bruins was cycling up at that time. But Tampa came in first game. They had a big layoff. They made the adjustments, and they were just better, period.
Okay.
I don't think the kids really knew what hit them when they hit a really close checking team.
Yes.
That playoff hockey type close checking team. They were totally caught unawares,
They took
the
it
younger
away.
guys.
Yeah, although I think you both can be right. Tampa is a better team, deserved the series, but the refs cost us game 4. I'll go to my grave thinking that. I mean, that was a directly attributable, late in the game, we're up by a goal. A call that gets made 90% of the time in the NHL doesn't get made, and 3 seconds later, the puck's in the net.
Against a team that had to have a penalty to score a game.
That's right.
Because 5-on-5,
We
they
couldn't
just
score.
couldn't
Right.
match up.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about this show, and one of the first shows we ever had was with Bob Ryan, and I brought up the whole referees on the take issue. No, and I'm serious, and that's a serious
Yeah.
issue, because all across the world, if a call like that is made, they think the refs are on the take. Are we still this naive to think, and especially you watch Game 4 of the Celtics-Philly, where the calls are completely on Philly's way, where you watch clear calls.
The American sports fan lives in the fantasy world where the referees are totally unbiased and unjudgmental.
Well, look, it's such a reactionary game. It was a blatant penalty.
But you have four referees out on the ice. Four
Yeah,
of
they have
them.
the extra.
See, I think
and
what
how
happens-
about the non-call on Marchand back in, was it game 2?
Here's one theory is because I actually found the Celtics game much more blatant than this because
Oh,
it was
yeah.
systemic. It lasted an entire quarter. I think 12 out of 13 fouls are called on the Celtics, and they were touch fouls. But I wonder if NHL refs get caught up in this. It's late in a playoff game. I'm not supposed to make that call late in a playoff game.
Well, you're supposed to let them play.
Yeah, but
But
man,
a call like that, you really have to. He's right there. It's not like
Scott's
you
right. I
saw
mean,
it
there are 4
different,
guys looking at it.
You know?
But why do referees? Why are they not having a press conference at the end of these games? Why are they not being put
Being
front
held
and
accountable?
center?
I
Why
wonder
are the
that, too.
players all being held accountable? Why we just let them go away and whatever they did, whatever they cost a team a victory? Why are they not being held?
I don't think.
Responsibility
I don't
for
think
that?
you do that. They don't do it in any sport, and they're never going to do it.
Why is that? Why?
They usually
Why
have
not?
a pool. I asked the same question.
Because
Why
the
didn't we hear from
reporters
the
would
ref
be
the other night?
badgering guys. Why did you make that call? 'Cause
Look,
that's why it's not.
I don't know why you couldn't send a pool reporter in every night. One reporter go in, ask the 3 questions that's on everyone's mind,
Yeah.
and at least get their explanation for it.
But don't you think the sports public
100%.
deserves that? Why is that so outrageous?
They usually come out with the explanation 2 or 3 days later when everything is cooled off.
Yeah.
You know, usually in hockey, on the ice, that I missed that. And you see one coming up shortly right after that.
That's right.
Makeup call.
Yeah,
In
the-
hockey more than any other.
The problem is it couldn't make up for that call. I mean, it was so discreet. Like, boom, the puck's in the net. It's a tie game. It goes into overtime. The Bruins weren't winning that game in overtime.
Well,
I never felt that way.
No.
Make a great point, Joe. A lot of times now the league is saying after post game.
NBA does it after every game.
Saying the mistakes being made and
Yeah.
they point them out. Okay, so that's calling out the referees. In some
Especially the
level.
last 2 minutes, they've been very good about that.
So is this moving forward to at some point when games are under protest, and usually that's a joke, right?
Yeah.
That is a joke, that they could not change the outcome,
Overturn? I don't think so.
or do something,
Yeah.
to change that.
Never
The
going
thing
to
It's a
about
slippery
sports is
slope.
this, quite simply, if there were no mistakes, there would be no outcome.
Okay, but so what's the point of the league doing that then?
It's just to assuage the public,
Well, it makes them more outraged, right?
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
it
know.
validates
I think
what they were
it's-
thinking.
But it cools down. There's a certain segment that's still going to be outraged, but that cools down a good portion of them by talking to them, coolly and intelligently, and people will go away. It's only the rabid few that
That's right.
hang
I
on.
think
Sound
that's
like
right.
Jim Schoenfeld. Have another donut. You're
Yeah.
Right.
We're the rabid few.
Yeah, of course.
I want answers.
All right, a couple of Bruins notes. First of all, I know Pete's going to disagree with me, but Chara looks like he needs to retire. No.
I disagree
He
too.
looks to me like they need to handle him like Sale or Rask. You have to manage his minutes.
And they never do. They always say they're going to do it, and they never do it.
'Cause he's a
losing,
horse.
losing Carlo was a big loss.
Huge.
So it feels like we could use some more muscle. I don't want to
Yeah.
say Milan Lucic, but a Milan Lucic type player we could use for next season.
We
Would you agree?
definitely more physical
Well, why?
players.
Well, where was the
It just seemed that we were, the
I think
physicality of Tampa Bay was far.
We were getting
scarier than
beaten in the corners.
I think the two-
those 50-50 plays, we just weren't winning them.
Yeah, that wasn't a physical thing, though. That was more of a speed thing.
ours. Oh, all right. Well, then we need to get faster too.
Well, look, the Bruins are really young, and this was a great. DeBrusque showed grit. He showed everything to me to look forward to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we found out today that DeBrusque was playing with the sprained AC joint that when
Oh,
Jimmy
now I like
G
him even
refused to play with.
Oh, Joe gets that
Oh,
in
yeah,
late.
right, exactly.
You get that in late. You'll have to
Petey
pick that
would
up.
be out till 2026.
No, we're talking about
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
Jimmy's
What's that? Oh, I didn't even hear the.
I never heard of it.
And my guess is now you have to close the show.
Yeah, right. And that's our show for night, boys. Want to thank the fellas. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, the lovely and talented Adrian, handsome Todd, and William the intern. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. I'm Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night. The elephants are in town.
Here comes the circus.